Welcome back, YouTube, to another pro-casted game. We've got Kasva playing as the Delhi Sultanate up against Leenock, who is playing as the Abbasid Dynasty. Two of my favorite civilizations. Let me know down in the comments if they are your favorites as well. And the map is King of the Hill. Now, I've got some great beef with this map because you never know how it's going to spawn. You could end up like poor little Leenock down here, who has one wood line that appears to be, well, right here. I guess he's got two, but that was a really far one. I don't know. The wood spawns can be just absolutely wild on this map. Actually, look at Kasva's. This is the one I got in the tournament. Look, he's got one wood line. That's it. Like, what? He had to come all the way up here to get the next one. I don't know. Anyways, enough of that. We've got scouts out here on the map. Let's see if any of them have opened the scout. Doesn't look like Kasva has. He has started by going for a mill and berries. Popular start with the Delhi Sultanate these days because of the wheelbarrow opening. And then we've got Leenock putting down his House of Wisdom so he can age up here in a moment. And he has 6 on food, now building that gold mine there. And I would suspect maybe this villager that's building this will go to gold here in a second too. So pretty normal opening. Picking some sheep up as we can. Of course, for the Delhi Sultanate on this map, this is one sacred site they have to hold to win, and they can start down the second age once they get their sanctity research. So we'll see if that comes into play here. Now for Leenock, I feel like the play will probably be some measure of aggression in the second age, because I don't think you want to just sit back and let Delhi have an uncontested boom just because of the fact that if he can get sanctity up and take control of the sacred site and get, like, he can wall you in with the spears or whatever, that's not going to be good news for you, especially on a map like this. You don't really want to be cornered here. So we'll see if Leenock goes for some aggro in the second age, or if he goes for a second town center. Maybe some aggro with that, or it could be a castle. Who knows? We've got Kasva over here. Now, one thing I will say about Kasva, I did a cast recently where Kasva went for a proxy Delhi stable and played very aggressive on this exact map. And I actually did a build order guide. You could check that out in one of my previous videos. And in the Discord, I've got the build order written down in text if you want to check that out. So I'll be curious to see if Kasva goes for some kind of proxy base here. He's been kind of liking these rather aggressive strategies that sometimes are unexpected. It can catch your opponent off guard. We'll see. Leenock just macroing here. He is putting some villagers on wood now that he is aging up. Of course, with the economic wing, so he can research the fresh foodstuffs. Gives you cheaper villagers for the Abbasid Dynasty. So with both players now aging up. Well, Kasva's not aging up yet, but he will be very soon. We'll have to see what they do as we get into the next age. Kasva getting a fair amount of sheep there. Look now. Actually, something that's kind of interesting about this spawn is the fact that these trees are up on the hill, because normally there's like no trees on the hill. So I wouldn't be terribly upset about this, but this isn't like, if Leenock plays this very aggressively, this is the only wood line essentially he has to contest, right? Because his enemy's not going to come all the way down here to get wood. If he can come up here and pressure this one spot, that's no more wood, no more army. No, in the feudal age, everything costs wood. So we'll see if Leenock realizes that and goes for any pressure. Let's check out Leenock's scouting pattern. Okay, just now checking out the base as Kasva is aging up. And let's see if Leenock's gone for any stone. He has not. And I would say this is probably a decent indication that he is not going to be going for a second town center opening, which some can be popular with the Abbasid Dynasty. We see the animation canceling on the scout. Oh, we hate it. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So there we go. Annoying those gold miners as they are just trying to do their job. We got scouts not scouting, they are attacking. Okay, that's Kasva's scout, so he's going to come in here and hopefully ward off this enemy scout with his own. Maybe a little animation canceling dance. We'll have to see. And we can see efficient production is just about done, and then he'll be popping on over to sanctity here, certainly. Okay, now Leenock has hit the second age. Let's see what he's dropping. We have a stable down. A stable. So a stable. We'll see what comes next. I mean, he could maybe just run around here and raid, but I don't know. I don't feel like I see a ton of Abbasid stable openings, but anything's possible. Okay, and Caspa almost in the next stage. There we go. Let's see if he gets that Sanctity in queue. Probably. Not quite yet. Okay, he is dropping a stable as well. Now, he has not scouted his enemy yet, so he doesn't know that his enemy is going for a stable quite at this moment. And he'll get the Sanctity up here in a second. Getting those Ecotechs in queue. There we go. He's got all of those. He did train a scout at some point. Must have done this in transition. I think he did it purely to go check out what the Delhi player is doing. I think he knew he had to stay on this scout so it didn't annoy his gold miners again. Now Leenock is towering up the sacred site. So his goal here is to prevent Casper from taking the sacred site. So that's certainly why he's doing this. And he is going to get that up. I do believe we do see some animation canceling going on there for Casva, but Horseman coming in, he is going to get that tower up, and that's going to be a nice little map control point for Leenock. Now he does scout that there is a stable here. We got Blacksmith and a stable for Delhi. Let's see over here. We've got just a single stable for Leenock. Let's see what he is macroing for at the moment. Is he even training Horsemen? Yeah, he is. Okay. So we got a few Horsemen. Yeah, I can't really say either player is doing anything crazy quite yet. Both players just kind of positioning with these Horsemen. Going to be maybe running around a few back and forth battles here. But, I can't say that Leenock is committing to a feudal age push because I would expect maybe to see another military. Well, we've got a barracks down. Let's see how this pans out. Now, look at this. Leenock's going for the stone. I don't think this is for a town center, though. I think this is to get the arrow slits on that outpost, which will cost 50 stone and 25 gold. But he'll need to get some gold as well in order to do that. Assuming he has fresh foodstuffs researched. Yes, he did. So he's got those cheaper villagers. They only cost 25 food for Abbasid if you've got the fresh foodstuffs upgrade. And we've got Casva pushing forward with a good little mass of horsemen. But pulls back right as he gets close to this tower. And there you go. You see the benefits of having a little bit of map control with this tower already starting to pay off for Leenock. Casa bringing some villagers forward, so it makes me wonder he's going for this. What is he doing? Was that a little bit of misdirection? I think he's maybe going for the wood line, but he turned around. I don't know. A little bit of wasted villager seconds there. Both players having some horsemen running around the map, but not really doing too much raiding. But Casa looks like I think they're both going to raid each other. This will be interesting to see what happens. Let's see what could Casva pick up down here. There's a spearman on this line, and honestly, just like 3 or 4 spearmen, that'll be plenty to turn those horsemen away. Meanwhile, Leenock looking to lay a raid right now on Delhi, but not really getting a whole lot yet. I think he's just kind of checking out the situation. He's turned around. Maybe he's kind of wary that the enemy horsemen could be surrounding him at any moment. Maybe he doesn't know where that army is, so he's just being careful. Now, Leenock did go for a second town center. I said he was on stone. Wasn't sure if he was, but that is what he went for. But, man, this is costly. 1, 2, 3 villagers going to die here. At least 3 or 4 vills. And it stops his town center production and shows his hand. Casva knows what's going on here. Going to put some siege down on that town center. The spearmen are positioned up here. He needs to pull those down. But, unfortunately, his town center... It got. Okay, and Casper probably he's got some good damage on these villagers. He probably just gonna run away now. This has been a nice little raid for him. Let's look at the villagers. 29 for Caspa versus the 29 for Leenock. Interesting. So Caspa must have missed a vill somewhere, perhaps. I don't think he got raided unless I missed it when I popped over here. But more importantly, Caspa is currently housed. Is he even building a house? He just started, so he's going to be a house for a little while longer. Okay, we've got Horseman just continuing to run around and harass the eco of Leenock. Now, I talked about these wood lines earlier. Like, look at this. He kind of had to take control of this wood line, right? Because he just ran out of trees here. But now he's out here in the open, and Casva sees this. I would imagine he's going to keep pressuring this. Oh, boy. Did this get upgraded? It does not have arrow slits. I thought he was going for arrow slits earlier, but he went for the town center. You never know. Okay, but I think long-term, Leenock does have his town center up. Double villager protection. We got 31 for Casa versus the 32 of Leenock. I think Leenock's just going to pull ahead with his vills. And if he can deny this sacred site, He should be perfectly fine for a while. Now, Caspa has gone for horsemen and archers to counter the spearmen and horsemen comp of Leenock. Okay, so bit of positioning now, but I feel like Leenock could just chill for now, maybe. Okay, he has 2 stables, 1 barracks. Let's go see what Caspa has. Archery range, stable. What's that? It's a house. Okay. Now look at this. He's down up to the north getting berries. That first tree line getting rather low. Is he gone to the right? Nothing on the right yet. Okay, so I would imagine maybe we'll see a big skirmish here very soon. Neither player really indicating that they're going to be... Well, I say they're not indicating they're going to age up, but right now Leenock has 9 villagers on gold, which... I mean, he could be going for upgrades, but this probably means he's starting to think about an age-up scenario. Caspa's having 2 vills on gold at the moment. Probably just to train those scholars. And here we go. Going to try to commit to take out this outpost. Positioning back. He needs to be careful. The spearmen can really do some damage to those horsemen. He needs to try to get the archers onto the spearmen. I'm trying to zoom in so we can see what is going on here. But the scholars handing out a little bit of healing here. And boy, the spearmen... it's hard to really tell what exactly is going on in this battle. We'll have to see who has the most when this ends. I feel like Caspa is probably doing better because of just the sheer number. There's 3 scholars dishing out healing there, and that's huge. And look at that. Caspa's able to hold. And boy, this is something you have to consider now, guys. With these Delhi techs taking a little bit, a few changes to them at the mosque, these scholars can really change the tide of a battle. Because they get more HP, they have upgrades to their healing rates, and you throw a few of those in the middle of your army in a situation like that, Leenock couldn't just target the scholars down. He had to kind of go through the army he's faced with, and now Caspa's taken out that middle tower. He is walling things up, and, he is probably in a pretty happy position here to hold the sacred site, but we've got Leenock coming in trying to contest it, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to do that for now. So just chilling on the sacred sites, and there we go. We'll start that timer. It'll be 10 minutes, so at 22 minutes would be technically a castle victory if he is able to hold this sacred site. So this could be a sacred site victory on King of the Hill. It is a very common strategy with Delhi Sultanate. Let's check out Leenock's base. He's been gathering some gold. 9 vills on gold at the moment, but needs a lot more food. Yeah, honestly, let's look at the military tab. 21 killed for Leenock versus the 15 kill. I'm sorry, for Castle versus the 15 killed for Leenock. Horsemen kiting back. A lot of low HP horsemen here for Leenock. Castles are all pretty much high health, and he can heal them with his scholars. But looks like he's moving up. He's got his archers in position, and we just have Castle slowly but surely pushing up on Leenock, and that's probably going to push him off this gold here soon. Where is his next gold? He could fall back to this gold possibly. The rest of his resources are pretty much in the back. He's farming, he's getting wood. Those are rather safe. Now, this is a great engagement for Leenock. Look at this. I don't know if this was a missed micro for Caspa, but those horsemen were engaging directly up against those spear. And now we've got, boy, another nasty battle going on. I think Leenock is going to take this one because spearmen are like right up on these horsemen right now. And there aren't a ton of archers in this fight for countering this spearmen. But the healing is like what's really crazy. But yeah, look at that. Leenock holding it off. Look at the military graph. Is able essentially kind of to make up for losses from that last fight. And if he kills these 3 scholars... Now look at this. Look how much HP these scholars have. They could just... they have 130 HP. So they could just sit here and tank. But losing those scholars is going to stink for Caspa. Oh! He lost 2. I thought that maybe they all survived. So despite all that, I mean... I don't know. Maybe this is still a win for Caspa. He lost the scholars. He's forced some idle time. But let's look at this. Well, meanwhile, while all this fighting is going on, Leenock is pulling ahead in eco. We have the 57 villagers for Leenock right now versus, let's see here, we've got for Caspa, he's currently has the 46 villagers. So Leenock is up on vills, but we've got the gold income, 200 gold per minute from the sacred site. Let's look at the income per minute tab. We've got -0 stone for Leenock. Tell me how that math works. But Caspa looking like actually both players, I feel like they're going to age up. I don't know. It's kind of maybe not. He's dropping down more stables. I think Leenock's kind of feeling the pressure here. He might pump out some horsemen right now. We've got 1, 2, 3 stables worth of horsemen. We've got 2 barracks. Does he have archery range? 3 barracks. So really committing to this. There we go. New age begins, and Casva is in the 3rd age. What did he go up with? He went up with the House of Learning, so he could get this Honed Blades research, which is this great tech, gives +3 to Knights of Man-Arms. But I'll tell you what, for me playing Delhi, if I'm in a situation where, you know, he's already taken off several minutes, right? The 22-minute mark, he will win the Sacred Site victory. I think you got to go for Compound Defender on this map, because you could have just these archers right now, boom, stonewalling in, and Leenock is not coming through there for a long time, you know. Right there, small wall segment, small wall segment. I mean, he could completely trap Leenock in his base easily with a Compound Defender, and then you could just, like, keep villagers gathering stone and build, like, 2, 3, 4 keeps here, because the name of the game is it just takes them too much time to siege those down without bombards. And Leenock is still in the 2nd age. Abbasid don't age particularly quickly. Man, just imagine what some stone walls could really do here. But anyways... Leenock is moving out with his horsemen and his spearmen. Let's see what's going on back at home. Nothing in queue yet for that home. The Home Blaze not in queue yet. We got the blacksmiths working, picking up some relics at the moment. Okay, and there's the spearmen. Going to try to do something about that, but here we go. We got archers, and those spearmen are rather exposed. Those archers are able to target fire. It's a little bit harder when it comes to, like, the big mass to target fire, but when you kind of have some spearmen up in front of the battle. But at the same time, look at this. Horsemen flanking around for Leenock and getting up on these archers and forcing... this is the tricky thing, because these spearmen are just going to get up. If spearmen can get within striking distance, they're not terrible against archers. And... I think Leenock is actually going to clean this up because of the sheer spearmen and horseman mass against archers and horsemen. And I think Casva didn't have the numbers because he focused up on aging. And now look, hold on. Leenock has 2,000 food. What is going on with the macro? You know, I enjoy seeing this from pro players because it makes me not feel so bad. Because, you know, you try not to float res when you're in like a big fight. But Leenock's in here on 2K food, and he's, you know, one of the top players on the ladder. I love to see it. I love to see it. Okay, we've got battering ram coming up. So I think the Sacred Site is going to be neutralized for Casva. And you know what was starting to look like a Delhi-dominated game here on the Sacred Site? We currently have Leenock taking it back. And now Delhi just had his army wiped out. He is working on some man-at-arms. But if there's just an absolute mass from Leenock, I don't know if a few man-arms are going to make a difference. So I think this horseman could surround them. We'll have to see here. Of course, those are going to be very strong units. Would like to maybe see some crossbows out of Leenock. He does have some archery ranges, so maybe that's what he'll do. We'll have to see. But yeah, just he's playing the smart. He's just not going to engage those man-arms. He's just going to run around trying to pick up some raids. Will he get through the crack here? Oh, they slipped through. It's dirty. Look at them go. Oh my gosh, they slipped through the crack in the wall. Meanwhile, we got man-arms heading towards the middle. Again, the Sacred Site timer has stopped. And we've got man-arms coming up on the spearmen. And if they turn and engage, they will wipe those out. But right now, it just seems to be walking across the map. I think he's busy microing back here. Casva pulling out the relic just to try to stop the advancing horsemen. And he actually grabs a few. Oh my gosh, that is a great value right there. I don't know if Leenock didn't realize where the Willow was happening. There's fights on multiple fronts here, so I'm doing my best to hop between the two. We got man-arms pushing up front. You know, I'm stupid. I was talking about Leenock. I'm like, oh, he should make some crossbows. He's still in the 2nd age, so no crossbows here. We got man-arms engaging. We've got back on the back line horsemen, some lancers, and man-arms. Let's watch this main fight. Now, one thing to note, does he have the phalanx upgrade? Let's see. He does have the phalanx upgrade, to my understanding. So these spearmen have additional range. So what does that matter? Even though spearmen aren't counters for man-at-arms, when you're stacked up in a fight, right, where typically units will be like bumping in, they can't get into the battle, the spearmen can reach in, you know, reach over the shoulder of their teammates, and they can do some additional damage. So they can actually do an okay job at just keeping those man-arms contested. Look at this, building a mangonel right on top of everything. Very bold, but Leenock's eco is probably far ahead. 81 villagers on food, forced to 58 of Casva. And Casva just losing all of these man-arms, losing his lancers. There's 2 mangoes up, and I think this game is looking to be very, 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 very so heading in the direction of a Leenock victory. Villagers running around, no regard for what is going on here. And there we go. There's you know, what you saw there were those spearmen training these mangonel the second he hit the 3rd age. That's because the Abbasid Dynasty, they don't have to research siege engineering or anything. They're able to just train these things right on the field, right out of the gate. So it's a good civ perk for them. And honestly, Leenock's in a good position. He survived the 2nd age. There wasn't heavy Delhi pressure, right? It was kind of both players were playing a little bit conservatively with the horsemen kind of back and forth. So Leenock had the room he needed to get his 2nd town center up, and now his economy is just so far ahead at the moment. You know, I think I was sitting back there talking about... Oh my gosh! I was talking about like all of the he's floating 2K food. I had it on income per minute that whole time. Yikes! 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 I swear, I'm professional, guys. We're professional. It's okay. Anyways, here we go. We've got Mangonel taking some fire at those man-arms. Leenock just taking the middle gold. I mean, seems to be steamrolling. Rollering. I don't think that's a word. The Casva at the moment and pushing ahead. Boy, oh boy, let's look at that military graph. Units killed, it's kind of technically neck and neck, but I think Leenock has killed more valuable, or rather high target enemies. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mangonel. For those of you who like mangonel, this is going to be your jam. For those of you who dislike them, you're about to see lots of splash damage and no friendly fire. Okay, here we go. We got mangonels taking some shots on those palisade gates, and a springald being built on the front line as well. All these spearmen. I love massing spearmen when I'm playing as the Abbasid. You can just do like spearmen in siege. It's going to be such a solid army comp. Okay, looks like these man-arms are going to try to do some kind of flank maneuver. 20 man-arms. If a mangonel shot gets off, he did a good job spreading his troops out, to be honest, and he's going to probably grab all of these mangonel, but these man-arms are probably just going to die here in the end. So yeah, he's been targeting down all of these or mangonel. There you go. That's some high value. He just took out a ton of mangonel. But the problem is he had to sacrifice his whole army in order to do it. And you see Leenock's got a complete surround there. Talk about that spearman range. Look at this. This isn't fair. Abbasid spearmen are just absolutely being brutal here, taking down this man-arms. And now Casva doesn't have a standing army. And Leenock's like, it's okay. I got an eco behind this. I will drop 3 mangonel on the field at once. Oh my gosh. You know, I read a statistic lately that in the top of the ladder, Delhi has actually overtaken Mongols in win percentages, with Abbasid typically being regarded by many players as not being the strongest. But look at this game. Leenock just really taking the Delhi Sultanate to task. Of course, the tactics always come into play. Here we go. Got Sprint coming ahead of the man-arms and taking out these mangonels. I mean, these are decent trades to just pick these up, but the problem is just this pure infantry death ball that Leenock has. And Castle just not being able to neutralize it. He could go for a thick Wololo. He could grab it. He's got 4 relics there. He could jump out, grab them, run around, try to do something fancy with them. Let's see if he does a last-ditch Wololo effort. That could be a game changer. He could surround his opponent, but he doesn't even go for it. Taps out, calls GG, and there you go. Leenock taking the victory with the Abbasid Dynasty up against Casva's Delhi Sultanate. If you enjoyed this casted game, make sure you take a moment and hit that sub button and leave me a comment. I really appreciate you guys coming back to check out all the videos. We're working up towards 10K subscribers, and you can help me with that goal. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.